All right, let me get situated here. I'm glad that you called. Let's see, it's about 10 minutes to 6. You're putting in some late hours.
I am. That's you pay when you're not in the office during the week. I'm trying to catch up here.
When I was in an office and going on vacation was awful because you come back, it's all there in a pile. It's awful. So
the day before you leave.
yes.
Yep.
All right. Do you want to just go home and call it quits for a week?
No, that's okay. No, tell me what you're looking for, so then right away I can take care of it.
Okay.
Take a chance.
I'll just tell you up front, and then I'll go through some stuff I want. But I'll tell you up front that the little bit of the personal side of you that I've witnessed over the years, you strike me as a sweet person, a nice individual. I'm sure if you and I shared a cup of coffee, I would enjoy a conversation. I'm not directing what I'm getting at that person, Ms. Barb Wolf. I'm directing it at the agent of the Department of Natural Resources.
Okay. No,
And in that regard, I have some doubts about some of your professional behavior, but I also acknowledge that you work in an atmosphere that not telling the truth appears to me, just on a private individual level, it appears to me to come from the top down. And if the newspaper of this morning reports correctly, I don't know about anything else that Secretary Frank, I'll get to our conversation, but I want to qualify this so you know I'm not disrespectful of you. As far as the newspaper article, if they correctly quoted Secretary Frank, the newspaper this morning said that Frank said, I think we are listening. I believe he's referring to the Department of Natural Resources. Look at our actions. Now that is true. I can't criticize that that's false. But, you know, we watch all those movies where people swear to tell the truth, the whole truth. That is not the whole truth. I've called Secretary Frank 5 times. He's not responded to any of those calls. He is listening. He's clearly listening to me, but his actions tell me something different. Okay, so I know you work in that culture, and you can't get out of that. That I've had to work so hard to get in touch with you. I mean, it's unacceptable to me, and I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna deal with your superiors about any matters unless for some reason I have to get back in touch with you. I also want to tell you up front that after I made my call this morning to you, I told you in that call that I was going to call Secretary Frank about my being upset about this. I did go through with that. He, of course, has not called me back, which is, you know the irony in that. He won't call me back about you not calling me back. I mean, you and I both can see you get off the hook on this. He's the guy that doesn't look right in this. But in any case, all that preface, let's just go through a few things here.
Just one thing, I realize, you did call earlier, and we played a little phone tag, but I left in my voicemail message so that people understand they may not get called back right away, that I would be out of the office. I'm not sure if you listened to the voicemail, but I said this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I will not be in the office. So, I can understand your frustration, but that's why I try to keep that updated. People know that.
It was absolutely clear to me that you were going to be absent from the office a good part of this week. It's unfortunate that this is falling together during that kind of week, but the circumstances, considering everything, it may be unfortunate, but it shouldn't have happened that way. I got from your message that you were taking your voicemail and that you knew I was calling and that I wasn't happy and that I wanted something done. You were aware of that. So, okay.
We talked before, so yeah. And at that time, you told me you needed to talk to my supervisor.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, we've been down there. Okay.
Right, okay. Did you help her? I got a letter today, dated the 16th, from Ms. Lloyd Egan. Did you help her on one paragraph regarding my contacting you about Plouts and Croplin?
Well, because my supervisor is not in law enforcement, she asked me for a copy of that written report, and I told her that no report was written.
Okay.
So I did help her. I provided her with that information.
Okay. Did you see the paragraph specifically dealing with it in her letter to me?
I'll tell you what. She sent me a copy, and because
You haven't had a
I
chance.
started high-grading my
Okay.
emails,
Okay.
I did not probably read it thoroughly.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I can.
Okay.
So,
Well. Let's. That's fine. I just want to know where the lay of the land is. That's all. Okay. Now we'll jump. Totally unrelated. I'll get into stuff, and we'll go through my list, and then I'll say thank you for listening to you, and I'll give you a chance. I'll let you off if you want to go home, and it's Friday. You must have family and things you want to do. We can talk about this on Monday. It really is fine. This has gone on so long. Taking care of it now isn't going to change things. If you prefer to call it quits, that would be fine.
tell me the things that
Okay.
I maybe can answer, and if I can't, at least I'll have it written down.
Okay.
Because I know both of us, sometimes it's hard to, we're just doing the phone voicemail. So
Okay.
as long as we're talking, why don't you give me
Okay,
your list?
good. Okay.
If I can answer something, I will, and if I can't, then
Absolutely.
I'll write it down.
I understand. Okay. First of all, kind of unrelated to the things that are bugging me. When I first called and talked to you, I think on the 23rd, I told you about those deer carcass and fish over in that one pull-off area. Do you recall that? Did you have agents check that out?
Yes.
What's your take on that? Am I wrong? Is that odd?
When I told them about it, they thought it was a place where people were just dumping things. And we've got that on some of our public. Unfortunately, our wildlife people spend a lot of time picking up things that people throw out, and it gets particularly bad during, the fall.
No, this. Yeah. Did they show you photos of the area of the carcass and fish there? Did they show you photos of that?
No.
I've got that. This is not just someone dumping stuff, but okay, if that's how your agents interpreted it, that's fine. That's
Well, if there's any kind of identification that we can pull off of things that have been dumped,
there wasn't.
then we go after the
Sure.
people for littering
Sure,
violations.
but this wasn't just litter. Do you understand? I mean, two carcass, and there was some real odd things about what was done with the carcass, and two full fish, including a northern that was many inches. It was a keeper kind of northern, not.
Okay, well, there's one thing that I can't answer because
Okay.
I kind of passed along
Good.
the information
Okay, good.
to the field enforcement staff, and I guess I didn't require them to report back to me, so I don't know.
Okay.
I was speculating that it was dumped, but I'll have to follow up, and if you want an answer to that, to see if anything came out of that.
It's a weird thing. I mean, that's all there is. In any case, we'll put that on the table. Now,
So what was the location again? Just so I can put it in my notes.
leaving Mazo, the town of Mazo, heading towards, it would be your last property before the dog training area.
The Amenda property,
I don't know
where
what.
the building is?
No, not on that side of the road. Even on the opposite side of the road of where the dog training thing is, towards Mazo, your next site towards Mazo on the opposite side of the road of the dog.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Going through, the letter that Lloyd sent me, and excuse me, Ms. Egan. I don't have a right to call her by her first name. I don't really know her, but looking at that, basically it conveys that Copeland Croplin, and that's it.
Croplin, yep.
And Plouts, he pronounces it Plouts. Okay. Basically it indicates that here an individual is so irate in a parking area, filming a contact with agents from your agency, and so irate that I assume your agents are armed individuals, aren't they?
Yep.
Okay. Two armed men are so intimidated by an individual in the parking area complaining about what he thinks is a just complaint. Two law enforcement agents have to leave the scene because of it. I don't care if we remove it from this specific instance, because really I appreciate that it's my facts that will stand. You know, they haven't committed theirs to paper, so my facts will stand. So in that regard, that's fine by me. But in future things, if I am your boss, as I understand how the system is set up, in theory anyway, I am a person you respond to, and I tell you what, if you tell me you've got someone so irate because of behavior of the department out in a parking lot that they're taping them and they have to run away from them, I want my agents to write that down. That strikes me as pretty significant. Doesn't it strike you as significant? I mean, it warranted a paragraph in your superior's letter to me. It strikes me as, remove it from this instance, put it in any parking lot with any agents. Don't you think you ought to amend your manual so that this kind of thing is reported?
Well, I think they do record it. They record it in their daily notes or their log. Whether or not they need to create a formal report is dictated by the reasons that we commit things to reports. If there's a violation, if they used any kind of force in the situation, if there's a pursuit. I'm just kind of going through the list. There is no violation, and we contact, just by comparison, during the deer season, people who can be really ticked off about no deer or what they had to pay for a license, and they make a note of that, who they talk to, but we don't require that every contact with somebody in the field rises to the level that they have to write a formal report on it.
This is a different level, though, ma'am. As far as I understand, I mean, I was making it pretty well known with your agency. Look, I want something done, and that no report is filed. I think
you wanted something done in what regard? The gate open? Right? That's what you wanted done.
Well,
And
yes.
you've already made that known to myself and to Lloyd Egan and to the field wardens, and they did come back, and they told Lloyd Egan what you had said. It didn't need to be transmitted in a report because, frankly, it wasn't new information. It was something that you've already communicated to us.
Well, I'll tell you an instance. I communicated several times, multiple times, to Mr. Steve Colden. I understand he is retired, but I repeatedly contacted him and said, why is the gate open now? Why can't it remain open through the winter so I can get access? I did that many times, and when I spoke with Ms. Egan, she tells me she has no report in her file of anyone ever before asking that the gate be open in the winter. On the tape that I took in the parking lot of Plouts in Cropeland, Cropeland is explaining to an individual that had Illinois plates. The individual is complaining that he can't. The gate is open that day, but that they're going to close the gate. He's complaining to Copeland of that very fact, and I had on tape Copeland saying, well, you have to go through channels, Well, as I understand how the DNR works so far, my dealings with them, there are no channels to get through. They're all dead ends. If he reports this to a guy that's wearing a badge and a gun out in the parking lot, he believes this person from Illinois believes he has filed some kind of report and someone is listening to him. But that's all blown off.